So is this your first year being a showrunner for Bridgerton?
It is my first year being a showrunner for Bridgerton, but because this show takes so much time to make and because we had a strike, I have now been showrunning for 3 years. So it's exciting for something to finally air from that work.
Yeah, I guess my question in follow-up to that is where did you start with it, and what was your role in the other 2 series?
Yeah, so I was a writer on season 1 and on season 2 and got to produce a few of the episodes. And then Chris Van Dusen, who showran in seasons 1 and 2 and created the show, has moved on to other projects. And so I've been working with Shonda actually for over 15 years. So we had a real rapport and she asked me to step in.
Your first series of showrunner has such a highly anticipated couple.
Yeah, yes, exciting.
Yeah, what do you think makes Polin or Colin and Penelope such a, makes everyone love them so much and is so excited for their romance?
You know, we've seen these characters on our screens now for 2 seasons. We've invested in them, and I think all of us in one way or another can relate to the story of unrequited love, an unrequited crush. And also I think both of them are underdogs in certain ways. So I think it's thrilling to put characters who are not used to being at the center of things, to bring them into the light. Nicola and Luke have really nailed it this year, and their performance is hitting new levels of comedy. I think there's a lot of awkward banter. We also have made more of a meal of the character of Francesca this year. She's someone who was in the background more in seasons 1 and 2, but this season we've cast Hannah Dodd, and she does a phenomenal job portraying a character who is very internal and more introverted, but Hannah finds a way to externalize a lot of what the character is feeling.
How did you feel about bringing that character to the screen then? Because she was she was away a lot in the first 2 series, I seem to remember. So did you take a lot of inspiration from the books, or were you able to have some sort of creative ownership over where you wanted that character to go?
So Francesca was away in seasons 1 and 2 learning piano in Bath, which in the book she's often away as well. And we did base a lot of the character on the book. She is the more introverted sibling who isn't as comfortable in large groups with lots of noise, unlike the other siblings. But we had to find a very fine line in the series of making sure she's really different from the other Bridgerton siblings, like Daphne or Eloise. Daphne's not introverted, but she has this poise that sometimes could look similar to Francesca. So we brought out a little bit of Francesca's more wicked sense of humor, and I think you'll see a little bit of that this year.
Which character would you love to see have a spin-off series, hypothetically? If I'm not allowed to ask the question, I'm not allowed to ask that question.
Good question. I mean, I would watch a spin-off series for any of these characters, truly. I think so many of them have such rich worlds. I love Alice and Will. I think that they have a fascinating trajectory in society. I could see any character having a spin-off, but I have my hands pretty full with Bridgerton. I leave that to Shondaland, and I will sit back like I did for Queen Charlotte and just watch as a fan.
This series, the costumes have got, I feel like there's always such care in the previous series, the costuming and it referencing culture and different colours for each character. And what do you think this series is bringing to that?
Yeah, I think you'll see that the costumes are brighter and more colorful, more sparkly, more layered this season. And that was really intentional in terms of this season, the tone is slightly more rom-com, more playful, more humorous. And so we felt that that gave us license to play a little bit more with exaggeration and theatricality. It's not necessarily something that will carry into every season, but for this year, it made sense to kind of amp everything up.
Okay, so was that one of your main decisions going into that, you wanted everything to just be a bit more out there and extravagant?
It happened organically. I think a lot of that came from John Glazer and Erica Ockvist, who are our costume and hair and makeup head. They've been with the show, Erica on season 2 and John on season 1. And I think both of them were really excited to push the envelope on the work that they've done previously. So I was happy to let them run with that.
Some people have been saying that makes it a little bit less historically accurate with the costumes.
Yeah, the show is a fantasy. It's an alternate history. And I think it's possible that in our alternate dimension where, you know, people of color have been more included in the world, that maybe the costumes went in a different direction, you know, maybe the actual wardrobe went in a different direction. So I think we get away with it on that. And you'll also notice that the characters who are wearing more out there costumes are characters who are a bit more extravagant in their personalities. The main characters, or like I should say the main group of people, are still wearing more muted colors that are in the proper silhouette. But in every era, there are going to be people who play a little bit outside the lines, and we just push that a little bit further.
I've got one last cheeky question. So I know we've come out of order from the books.
Yeah.
But so who's next?
You have to ask, you know, you gotta try.
I'm gonna try.
Cannot say, but we're in the middle of season 4 and I'm really excited about what we're writing. It's a good one. So once Penn and Colin have had their moment, we'll definitely be announcing that.